everyone, and welcome back to today's video. So today I want to talk about how you can view feedback in Blackboard. Now I'm very cold. It's very cold in our offices today, so I am wearing a sweater today. So if you see me like trying to keep warm, that is the reason why. So with that said, I want to show you how you can see the view back that I provide. Now, one of the key differences that you might see in Ultra versus original view is I actually can embed feedback for each specific question. So I want to show you how that occurs and where you can go in and see that, because it might be a little different than what you are used to. So with that said, if I go to our gradebook, you'll notice that I am going to go in and find my syllabus quiz. I did not practice doing the exam, so I don't have a example of that, but syllabus quiz will still go through the same process for that. The other thing to keep in mind about your gradebook is you can always sort it by date, so look at what was due at the very beginning of the semester to what is due at the end, or you could reverse it as well. So you'll notice that I do have a grade for Yellow Dig, but my current grade overall in the class is not so great, partly because I have not been doing the Connect assignments or the Play Pause It videos. I record them, so I do other things on the other side. I just don't go in and model it as a student here. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and do the syllabus quiz. And when we're doing our syllabus quiz, you'll notice that in this case, I did give myself an extension so that I could go in and model it for you. Yours will not show the start second attempt, but what it will show you is your grading component, and you can actually click on your grade. So if you click on the assignment, you can go to your grade, and then it will say, okay, what is the attempts that you did? Sometimes you just have one attempt, especially for exams, but some other assessments you might have multiple attempts for them. So I'm going to hit attempt number 1, and it's actually going to bring up my specific feedback. So again, you'll notice here it says your instructor added question feedback to this assignment. If it was overall feedback, it would be addressed in this overall feedback component right here. But because it's specific feedback for each question, I'm going to scroll down to the different questions. So generally what I do is I'm going to leave you feedback on anything that you have missed points for short answer or essay questions. So let's look at question number 4 in this case. So in your own words, indicate how Dr. Wittig is using Nuttall's 3 times rule in this class. Be specific about the various types of interaction used and the associated technology used for each type of interaction. So we talked about Yellow Dig, which is, let's talk about this. So I said Yellow Dig, teacher to student, McGraw, he'll connect student to student, and then Yellow Dig, student to student. It actually should be Play Pause It videos for teacher to student. But you'll also notice that I included some additional feedback, which is you forgot to indicate how Dr. Wittig is using the 3-time rule in your answer as well. So always look at the feedback for the specific question as well. Let's take a look at a couple of other ones. You'll notice that I said that I'm going to leave specific feedback for each question. That's not necessarily what I'm going to do when I talk about multiple choice question. Now for multiple choice question, you might notice that there is not one that says this is the correct answer. Because I am allowing you to do test corrections, I have removed that option currently. I'll go back in and update that option after test corrections have been turned in, or the due date for those test corrections. So for this multiple choice question, and this one is pretty easy because it's just a 2-part options or distractors or alternatives, if you will. And so on this one, I know by default if B was not the correct answer, then A is the correct answer. On the exam, you do have 4 different options. It will indicate to you what you selected. So you'll notice here, what is black is what I selected, but you'll have 3 other options that you can determine what is the correct response form using your test correction form. We'll get to the test correction form in just a second, but this is what a multiple choice question might look like in your exam. You also notice that, again, I have another short answer question. So what is Dr. Wittick's late work policy? Be sure to include the exception to the rule. So the answer was, there is no late work policy. That was incorrect. So again, I gave you some feedback. So Dr. Wittick has a built-in 48-hour window after assignments are due. So you can complete assignments up till Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. except for yellow dig assignments. Those have to be completed by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And then again, for the ones that you get correct for short answer, I generally don't provide any feedback if you got full credit for them now. So this is how you would go in and see the specific feedback. The reason I'm mentioning this is what you will need to do for your exam when I give you the feedback form. So let's talk about what is that feedback form real quick. All right. So this is the test correction form, and you'll notice that there are going to be some components where I ask you to fill it in. So what is your name, your date, your class? I am doing test corrections in both of my educational psychology classes, so make sure you say your online class, or if you are in my in-person class, you tell me what is your in-person class for that there. What was your original score on the test? And then I also want you to do some reflection, okay? Keep in mind that I've left a space here. You can definitely go over than just a single line. Answer the questions in depth and use as much space as needed. Some of the questions that I'm asking are, how did you study for this test? Did you study for the test to the best of your ability? When did you start studying for the exam, and how could you study differently in the future? So these questions up at the top are just more reflective questions, but then I have very specific questions related to your exam. So because we have both multiple choice and short answer, I do have two different sections for you to fill out. So you will need to fill out this form completely and accurately. When completed, I want you to submit the test form or test correction form to the test correction assignment. So for each exam that I will give or offer a test correction for, there will be a corresponding assignment called like test correction for exam number 1, test correction for exam number 2, so on and so forth. The other thing to keep in mind is that I do provide you multiple rows. But if you need to add in another row, you can absolutely add in another row. Let me show you how you can do that real quick in a Word document. So let's say I have multiple choice questions that are incorrect, and I filled out all the available rows in this table. So what I will do is I will go to where it says table design. Go to table layout. And under table layout, which is going to be located at the top center of your screen, you'll notice that I will have table, draw, rows and columns, merge, cell size, alignment, and data. It might vary according to what program or what Word you are using, but generally these are the same concepts or same placement that you will see. And really what we are interested in is going to be the rows and columns. And I'm interested in inserting a new row below the current line. So I'm going to select insert below. And you'll notice I can do that as many times as I need to provide me a row for each multiple choice question. You can do the exact same thing down here when we talk about short answer and essay questions as well. So let me walk you through an example of a multiple choice question. So let's say we have question number 5, whatever question number it is, just indicate what that is. Indicate what you obtained originally. So what was your original answer? So B. You could also, if I'm going to pull this back up. So let's say this, I could say be formative, colon, summative. Could be what I type in here. It might be helpful because you need to know the rationale as to why you selected the answer that you did. So this is your justification. So in this example, it's like I confused assimilation and accommodation. If I was doing this for the syllabus quiz, I would say the question was question number 6, so I put 6. My answer was B, formative, summative. What was my rationale? To be honest with you, my rationale is to demonstrate that what it would look like if it was incorrect, but I'm going to put in something that might be more reasonable. So let's say I forgot that summative accord at the end of the unit of learning will, whereas formative comes during instruction. So that would be my rationale, justification, if you will. Then I need to indicate what is the correct answer. Again, in this example, we only had 2 options. In an exam, you will have 4 options there. So you would need to pick between the 3 remaining ones that are located there. So in this case, I know it's A, which is summative, colon, formative. Then I still need to go on and explain the rationale or the verification that provides evidence that proves the answer is correct. Now, part of this is I'm going to ask you to provide a page number, a PowerPoint name, and the slide number to indicate where that information is found. You could also talk about play pause it videos as well. So like if you do a play pause it video, indicate the title of the play pause it video and what number or like minute timestamp it is located at. So in this case, I'm going to pull up my textbook, or I also know that I mentioned formative and summative assessments in my introduction to assessment video. So that is what I'm going to use. Do I remember the exact time point? No. So I'm going to pause the video, go and find that, and then demonstrate what I mean by that here. All right. So now I'm going to come back, and I'm going to provide more details of that verification. Again, one of the key things when we talk about verification is you need to provide that page number, PowerPoint number, timestamp in the play pause it video, etc. Okay, so this would be an example of what it would like in the textbook. This is what it would look like in, say, the PowerPoint, and then I'll demonstrate what it might look like if you are referring to a play pause it video. So the verification would be summative assessments occur at the end of the unit, which would include the exams. And then I would say formative assessments occur during learning or for learning. Which would include play pause it videos, Yellow Dig, and McGraw-Hill assignments. And then I would want to indicate where I would find that location at, or where I would be drawing that information from. So I would put it at the end of my verification, and I would say play pause it video. So this would be formative and summative assessment, and I'm just going to do timestamp 11:57. So that would indicate the different timestamp. You'll notice that I am putting timestamp here to indicate that it is a play pause it video that I'm getting my information from. So with that said, that would be an example of how I would address a multiple choice question. But we also have short answer questions. So here's an example of what I have here, okay? So question 31, I knew the different rules of languages, but I could not remember one of the rules. The error would be why you missed that question or lost points. This is where that feedback is going to come into play. All right, so remember how I provided feedback for the individual question itself. So I'm going to go and find one that is incorrect for a short answer. So this one, which is, what is Dr. Wittig's late work policy? Be sure to include the exception to the rule. So I'm going to look at the feedback and I'm going to summarize the feedback here, okay? So I know the feedback was along the lines of there is a late work policy of 48 hours, right? So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the question number. I am going to talk about why I answered the question the way I did. I might say, I thought there was a no late work policy for this class. Again, the closer you are to having taken the test, the more you have and remember the rationales to why you selected that answer. Next, we want to talk about the error. So why did you miss that question? Again, this is where when I go in and remove points for short answer questions, I will always leave you some feedback. So if you come across a question that I did not leave you feedback on, that was a short answer question, please let me know so that I can go in and see what's going on with that. So I would say there is a 48-hour late work policy in the class. Could be something as, you know, I forgot about this policy. Keep in mind, we also didn't talk about the exceptions. So the rule specifically also included, be sure to include the exception to the rule in your answer. So I need to indicate what was that error as well here. So you can have multiple things. If you want to separate it by having a space in between, you totally can. You could put it in one. It's up to you. So I'm going to say, also forgot to indicate the exception to the rule. All right, so that is the error, right? So why did I miss that question? Next, I want to talk about verification. So this is the information or improvement necessary for a successful response. What I mean by this is I need to indicate the additional components so that I can get a higher grade here, okay? You don't necessarily need to include what you already provided. This is more about what you needed to include to have a successful response. So, for this exact question, I would say Dr. Wittig's had a 48-hour late work policy. And the exception to the rule is Yellowdig, which must be submitted by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So that would be one answer for the short answer question. But you noticed I had multiple that I was missing, so I would go in and I would select the next question that I'm going to answer on this case. So I could do 8, 10, 12, 14, however many it is. Just like last time, if you need to add in more rows, you could go to table layout, go to rows and columns, and then do insert below. So this can be flexible in terms of how many you missed, but it also means that you do have to dig a little bit deeper into the rationale, the verification as to why you got that. I will say that I did forget to indicate the rationale or the time point, the page number, the PowerPoint, etc., where I found that information. In this case, it's in my syllabus, so I'm going to say it's Dr. Wittick's PSY 310 syllabus, or something along those lines. If you have any questions about how to do the test correction, how to view feedback, please let me know. Again, if you want to do a test correction, you do need to shoot me an email so that I can send you the test correction templates. Each template will be a little different for each exam. Not a whole lot, but there will be slight differences for them as well. So if you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll see you later. Bye.